Okay, folks, it's that time of year again. It's that week. Yes, it's time for the Super Bowl. Yes, Super Bowl 58 between Kansas City and San Francisco. And you know what? Seeing Kansas City in the Super Bowl is almost starting to repeat itself 4 times in 5 years. You know what? It's like I said in last week's show. Is Patrick Mahomes possibly Tom Brady reincarnated? No, wait a minute. They faced each other in a Super Bowl. And of course, the old master who has always terrorized Buffalo always won. And of course, Patrick Mahomes is starting to become Tom Brady reincarnated to the Bills. Yeah, we can beat him in the regular season, but we can't beat him in the playoffs. So, joy, we got Kansas City again. We got Travis Kelce, and maybe we're going to see Taylor Swift. But I mean, Taylor Swift, I'm going to say for another part. Yes, it's going to be them against San Francisco. The 8th time the 49ers are playing in the big game. First time in 4 years. But it's been 29 years since they won the Lombardi Trophy. And you know what? They are my pick. And I mean, they've got, and talent-wise, I think they're a little better. But you know, it's the Super Bowl. That's why they play it. And I mean, hey, Brock Purdy is one of the great stories. Yeah, he ain't Purdy. He's as ugly as sin. But you know what? He's a great story. The last draft pick of the 2022 draft. You know, once you get down there, pretty much you got to work your butt off to get to make the team. He not only has made the team, he's become one of the big quarterbacks in the NFL. A good game manager, and you know what? Maybe he'll lead them to a Super Bowl title. Well, of course, he's got a good cast there along with him. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and on defense, Bosa and others. San Francisco looks to be a pretty good contender. And I mean, I am rooting for the 49ers, not only because of Purdy and because I think they are a little better talented, but for a friend of mine who's battling cancer. I'm rooting for the 49ers. Should be an interesting Super Bowl. And yes, we got country singing the national anthem. Good old Reba McEntire, one of the best voices in country music a long time, is the one singing the national anthem. But do we have to see Usher? I mean, Usher is the halftime show. You know what? People can have him. You know? I mean, he's not exactly my cup of tea when it comes to music. But of course, millions of others do. It should be an interesting Super Bowl. And also with the commercials, including the Clydesdales coming back. The Clydesdales are a tradition with the Super Bowl. We love to see that big symbol of Budweiser coming through, because the Clydesdales are among the most beautiful animals on the face of this earth, with the exception of some humans, of course, including me. Oh well, but I mean, I digress. Let's see what happens with the Super Bowl. And let's go from talking about football to talking about what's going on with the Orange. Three of the last 4 games for the basketball team we've dropped, including one of our worst losses in recent memory. We go down to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I thought we had a pretty good chance against the Demon Deacons. And the Demon Deacons whooped us. That's all I'm going to say. They whooped us. I mean, pardon me, 99 points. What happened to the defense? What happened to Adrian Autry's way of handling things? Didn't he get a good defense to kind of counteract what Wake Forest was doing? He had nothing. Wake Forest shot lights out, not only from the field, from three-point range. I mean, hey, you allow a team to do that, you aren't winning. And I mean, yeah, it was a horrible performance. No wonder Autry was so blunt with his post-game comments. You know what? I would be blunt too. I hate saying this about the Orange because they're my team, but let's just face it. Against Wake Forest, they sucked. Now we get 3 straight games in the Dome coming up. One of them against a team that used to be elite, that is trying to climb its way back, but a good way maybe to get back in the win column. We got Louisville coming in tomorrow night. And on Saturday, our former lights-out shooter Joe Girard and his new team, Clemson, coming into the Dome for a noon tip-off. And don't forget, next week, North Carolina comes into the Dome. Maybe this time we can play the Tar Heels a little better. Of course, in their annual rivalry game there of the Golden Triangle against Duke, North Carolina looked pretty good. North Carolina almost looks like a team that could win it all this year. But maybe when they come into the Dome, maybe the Orange can maybe play a little lights out, hopefully. But I digress. They've got to improve. If they're going to get to the NCAA tournament, they got to play better than what they did against Wake Forest. That was an ass whooping, to say the least. And you know what? I mean, Autry, come on, guys. You can do better than that. At least the lacrosse team won their first couple of games. Yeah, they beat Vermont. Then they beat Colgate to open the season. The lacrosse team starting out 2-0, but it's just the beginning. Many people are saying this year could be a renaissance for Syracuse sports. I'm not seeing it right now with the Orange basketball team. We're headed towards the NIT if we continue this, or maybe another year without being in the postseason. Come on, guys, we can play better. And speaking of crunch time, the high schools are definitely getting towards that. A couple of weeks till sectional play starts. For Waterloo, the guys, yeah, they're trying to battle and battle. But you know, I mean, it's been a disappointing year for the boys, but keep battling. For the girls, yeah, it's been a struggle, losing all their stars there from that state championship team. But they're starting to play a little better. And I mean, maybe they're peaking at just the right time. Let's keep it going, girls. Reminders, the boys, they could make a little noise in the sectional tournament. I mean, they're a few games above 500. But I mean, let's keep going, guys. For the Miners girls, they're playing almost like they could win a sectional title. You know what? It would be pretty good for the girls. Been a while. It's crunch time for both Miners and Waterloo, and crunch time for everybody in Section 5 as we head towards the sectionals. Keep it going. Pardon me, I'm having a little trouble here. I mean, I'll close with a couple of things. The Grammys, yeah, they had some pretty good highlights. Tracy Chapman joined by Luke Combs singing Fast Car. Joni Mitchell in her first ever performance at the Grammys, coming off from her near fatal aneurysm, singing Both Sides Now. And Joni Mitchell sounded pretty good. But I mean, a couple of things. Miley Cyrus, congratulations on winning 2 Grammys. Long time coming. But do we have to know that you weren't wearing any underwear? Come on, you know, it's national TV. Have a little modesty there, Miss Cyrus. And also, I mean, Taylor Swift. Yes, she won a couple of Grammys. 4th one for Album of the Year. But as we all know, now you're Travis Kelce's window dressing. And also, hey, you know what? You can't sing. Do we have to see more of you maybe this coming Sunday? Oh boy, I digress. And last but not least, have you heard where there's a surgery to help short people gain a few inches? It could have helped Tyrone Muggsy Bogues when he played basketball. I digress. He didn't let his height stop him. He had a great career at Wake Forest, and he played a long time in the NBA with the Charlotte Hornets. But you know, a few inches, and we wouldn't have seen a posterized moment like you did with Charles Shackelford. Hey, we would have missed you ducking in between his legs, driving to the basket. But you know, hey, short people are probably jumping for joy. But you know what? I kind of like things the way they are. With every operation, there's a reaction, if you know what I mean. I'm Ken Haas, and that's my story this week.